Hello and welcome to the One About Podcast, show where two friends get together to talk about a different topic each week. This week, we've left Alien behind for now to talk about a totally different alien. This is the One About Predator. I'm your host, Dean. I also go by the list in places around the internet, and I am joined this week, as always, by the man who cannot fucking stop eating, John. John, I want to talk to you this week about two things that I've been into.
Lay it on me.
The first that I think that you'll have a little bit more to say about is this little show called Yu-Gi-Oh!
That's my shit, though.
I finished the entire first series and started GX, but we're not going to talk about GX.
Never talk about GX to me, please.
Oh, I will. As soon as I finish that one, we're gonna dive into that bad boy too.
I hope not.
Oh, we definitely are. But I finished all of series 1. There is so much goddamn filler in that show. It's actually crazy. There's 5 seasons, and basically 2 entire seasons are filler.
So wait, the 2 seasons of filler is the virtual reality one, right?
Yeah.
And the other one is like, what is that group called? They're like,
I don't
they're
remember,
like
but you're
old school
correct.
druids.
Yep.
And like Mai gets tossed up with them, and that's when they changed Mai's voice actor to a terrible voice actress. Like,
correct.
Did not fit her at all. I would rather listen to the Japanese version than that voice actor change.
Yeah.
But those were the 2 filler ones, and then
correct.
The canon is Duelist Kingdom,
Yep.
Battle City.
Yep.
And then after Battle City and the 2 fillers, what is that one? Is that one where they basically like have to go to Egypt to figure out Yu-Gi-Oh's Pharaoh's past?
Yes, but it's so okay. So this is how it goes, right? Season 1 is Duelist Kingdom. Cool, great. Season 2 is Battle City, but not all of Battle City. We get to the finals at the end of season 2. Season 3 is then that Noah's bullshit in the virtual reality for like 3/4 of the season, and then we go back to Battle City to finish the story arc we started like 30 episodes.
Why did they decide to do that? Was like they waiting for the manga? I'm pretty sure no.
Nah, dude, I'm pretty sure. I think it was actually finished by the time they got to this point. So I have no fucking clue.
Yeah. By the way, like anyone listening, this is one of the very few animes that 4Kids with their dub did justice,
Fucking
along with their opener. Like, and
dude,
that's very rare. Like
the intro to Yu-Gi-Oh, the Duelist,
so iconic.
Second only to the 4Kids One Piece intro, dude. Like, and so after season 3,
I'm glad we're recording video so everybody can see how much pain and suffering that caused me. Like, you know how I feel about that. It's the One Piece 4Kids opener is a banger until he starts rapping. That's it. Like, until he starts rapping.
Took a bite of gum gum.
Like, that part goes straight downhill. Fuck. And like, what's really crazy is like most of 4Kids English dub openers are bangers, like Shaman King. Man,
Shaman King's great. Yup.
That's one. Did they do Card Captors? I think they did.
I think so, yeah. I didn't watch it, but I think they did.
I'm pretty sure like 4Kids basically ran anime in the 90s.
Yeah.
For America.
Yeah, because it was still considered like kids shit back then.
Yeah. That's why they had to like make the openers so like memorable, and they did. They actually succeeded on like 90% of those.
That's back when they still treated kids with some kind of respect and shit.
Exactly. Now, every show is literally like They don't have a real plot. It's just like random stuff to keep them entertained because they think all kids now have an attention span of a goldfish.
Which is partly their fault, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but like I feel like it's a slap in the face. It's just like there's so many good things that you missed out on, and like I show it to them, and it's just like, oh, is this like Teen Titan, like comparing the regular Teen Titans to Teen Titans Go? Like I show them the regular Teen Titans, like, oh, is this like made after Teen Titans Go? I was like, no, this is the original. Please don't make me hurt you and yell at you. I just want you to experience something good.
Right?
That's all I want. Like even the Powerpuff Girls, and like this actually caused a fight between me and my wife. She's like, I don't want them watching the Powerpuff Girls. I was like, why? The Powerpuff Girls are fucking awesome. Like they're amazing. Like, oh no, I was like, no, just watch the Powerpuff Girls. It's great. It's great. But they can watch Family Matters the whole way through, which was oh man, it gets to a certain point. It's like because those shows you don't binge, you grow up with them. So
yeah.
They're binging Family Matters, and it gets to like where they're all like teenagers and like going to college and high school, and they're talking about sex and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's why they can only watch One Piece to episode 30. Because after
30
that,
out of 1,000.
like no, legit, like this is what I mean. All right, and like for everybody who tunes into our podcast to hear the parenting showtime in the beginning. Again, if you're worried about what your child watches, watch it first. And I've watched One Piece up to, I think it was episode, before I started rewatching with you, it was like episode 570. But I was like, basically like, where does this go south? Where does it like get a little bit more violent, a little bit more risque, and the character models I know my wife would not approve of. And I watched it. And episode 30 is when like Nami stabs herself in her arm and like tries to cut out the Arlong tattoo. It's a really powerful moment. I was like, this is where it gets real, and they can't watch it after that. We're just gonna leave that alone.
Didn't even get to the Nami redesign.
Nope, not the Nami redesign, and we're gonna stop it right before they get to witness Nami's mother get murdered right in front of her. So I'm a good parent. That's what that whole little excerpt
fun
was.
in your house.
That little tangent. You know what? I have noticed I do suck the fun out of every situation, but it's more of me trying to avoid anything that could happen or could be a problem, and I notice I do take the reins a little bit too hard sometimes with a lot of stuff, but I'd rather be too far in front of it than basically be like, oh shit, they saw this, now we have to have the sex talk. Don't want to have that. Or they saw this and was like, now I gotta explain to them why that guy's head came off and that it's not real and they don't need to have nightmares about, that kind of stuff. I'd rather avoid that.
Sure.
No, I'd rather take the safe route.
Totally understand.
Yeah.
So, that's when we get to the Orichalco shit.
That's it. The Orichalco is bullshit.
Yeah. Which, I stand by that they had some good ideas. Fuck that season, but I stand by that they had some good ideas. And then we go to Egypt. And man...
Why are you sighing? Because from what I recall, the Egypt arc was great. Oh shit, he took a sip of the coffee.
Here's the thing about the Egypt arc. It's awesome in theory. In practice, we're doing the same shit over and over and over. It's like, in the Frieza arc where you spend like 3 episodes just powering up and shit in Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, you mean like 30% of Dragon Ball Z?
I mean, that's...
We're not
going down that road.
Dude, that is... I'll stop it right here. That was a very generous estimate, and you know it. Especially the way that Toonami did it, pulled it out. That's why I stopped watching weekly Dragon Ball Z episodes.
Dude, there's so many episodes where they do other shit. Like, I mean, Goku and Piccolo learned to drive, and anyway, the point is, it's kind of like that, except instead of like focusing on them playing a single card for 3 episodes, they explain the plot to you over and over and over again to
I'm
take
so
up
sorry
time.
about that.
It,
But
so, like, I was talking to you about that final duel, and you're like, "Oh, dude, that one's a banger," but it's not, because every 5 fucking seconds, like, got duel to save the Pharaoh Solar. He's gonna be stuck here forever. Man, I really don't want to say goodbye to the Pharaoh. This is gonna really suck if
I
the
mean,
Pharaoh wins.
it's
And
the
I'm like,
last interaction that the Pharaoh has with Yugi, who he's been tied to for, like, at this point in time, like, we're gonna say like 6 years,
I think it's like 4 or 5, but
4 or 5 years. All
I
right.
get that, but you don't have to reiterate it every 5 minutes.
So what you're saying is that kind of waters down the actual gravitas of that moment, is what you're saying.
What? Well, I mean, it's also watered down by the fact that it's only 4 episodes. Like, the duel
True.
between Kaiba and Yugi was 6, and
And
that's way less important.
it is and it isn't, because everybody loves to hear Kaiba talk shit. Like,
I love Kaiba. He has the best. He's just like Vegeta, dude. He has the
he's
best like
better
character
than
arc.
Vegeta.
No, he's not.
He's
He's
totally
definitely not.
is. When it comes to shit talking, way better than Vegeta. And at least that nigga can back it up. Vegeta, my boy, they need to give him where he's like the actual like main character or antagonist, like the actual hero. Like, he actually gets his due. I'm sad about it.
I mean, Kaiba never gets his due either. He's always talking about how he's so much better than Yugi, and he lost every duel they ever had.
I mean, yeah, no, he didn't lose.
The only one he technically wins is in Duelist Kingdom, because he pulls that bullshit where, oh, I'll fall off the ledge, and Yugi stops the attack that would have won him the duel. He won, he just basically forfeited.
Yeah, I get that. That's fine. But
he never legitimately beats Yugi. Never even comes close.
To be fair, like, Kaiba is still, by no stretch of the imagination, the second best duelist in the whole series, and he straight up bodies most of the other duelists he goes against.
Yes, I mean, he's probably the third best duelist in the show.
Who's second?
Merrick, for sure.
That nigga almost lost to Joey, so that's where I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that right there.
Dude, that's some plot. That's some plot armor right nonsense. But also, he didn't lose to Joey.
But the thing is, I will say this: like, Joey's duelist skills are protected by plot armor. Yes,
exactly. Joey's garbage, son. He should never be anywhere near these duels.
Worst duelist ever.
He's so stupid, and like every win that he ever pulls off is like, well, I'm gonna throw out a random dice roll and see what. Oh shit! It's exactly what I needed. Imagine that.
To be fair, that's like that for Yugi as well.
No.
But with Yugi, that Negro lucks out a lot. Like, didn't he? He got, what is it? Red Eyes Black Skull Dragon when he went to Battle Kingdom. The Genos, which is like, I know that card doesn't actually do what they say it does in the show, but in the show, that card's probably one of the most powerful cards out there.
Are you talking about Jinzo?
Yes, Jinzo. The one that
it kind of does what they say it does in the show.
Kind of, but not at that level. Didn't he get one of the God cards? No, he didn't.
No.
He did not.
Definitely
but he almost beat a God card, so.
I mean, technically.
But
only because
Joey should never have got that close. Merrick should have wiped his ass with a dual deck and beat Joey with shit-covered cards.
The only reason that Joey got that close is because Merrick's hubris, dude. Like, he was like, this guy's not worth the time to wipe him off of the bottom of my boot.
Okay.
And that's why Joey even got close.
But that's my point, is Kaiba has that hubris. Kaiba drinks that hubris out of his bathwater, okay? He recycles his own hubris daily. And Joey Joey was talking shit, and Kai was like, "Nah, bro. Like, I'll tear that ass up. Like, you don't want none of this. You don't like." He's straight up. Kai was 100% trying to help Joey out. I was like,
It's just
Joey, you
stop.
don't want this smoke. I'm telling you, you don't want this smoke. Joey's like, oh, I want all the smoke. And nigga got fucking rolled and has to wear a dog costume and get talked on by Kaiba's cheerleading squad. That's the second best duelist in Yu-Gi-Oh! Not Merrick.
First of all, that was against Duke Devlin, not Kaiba.
Oh, it was Duke Devlin. You right. But he still got bodied right before they went into the battle tower against Kaiba, right? Where Kaiba didn't even break a sweat.
That was after Kaiba lost to Yugi. Joey challenged him for third place.
And Kaiba basically beat him in like 3 moves and shit.
Nah, it wasn't quite that bad, but yeah, he fucked
him up.
Like,
Oh yeah,
Joey got him down to like 500 life points or some shit though. Like it wasn't like he just got absolutely bodied.
I feel like Kaiba actually did more damage to himself than Joey did. You're gonna make me rewatch it, and I don't want to do that because I'm actually catching up on a lot of shit. Like I finished off Fire Force. I'm caught up on.
Sorry.
What do you mean? Sorry, that's a great. We're not gonna get into it because we're gonna be here all day. I caught up on All American, which my wife didn't want to watch it first, got interested in it, and then watched like 9 episodes without me. And like every time I think I'm catching up to her, she watches another episode while she's driving home. So I literally I texted her, I was like, I'm caught up, don't watch anything else. And I sent her that Samuel L. Jackson Black Snake Moan gif. You know the one I'm talking about.
I do.
Like straight up, I was like, don't watch another fucking episode. I was just like, and what was the other one? Like I basically caught up on a lot of stuff that I've been wanting to watch to the point to where I'm like, okay, it's time to restart watching One Piece from where I left off to catch up to the Wano arc.
I gotta do that too.
Dude, I'm telling you, the Wano arc is the shit. You watched the fight between Luffy and Kudakuri, right?
No, I stopped watching the anime a long time ago.
You son of a bitch.
I'm only a little bit behind on the manga though.
True, but you need to watch that fight. Like you don't even watch the arc, just that fight. Again, it's better than Luffy versus Rob Lucci.
Yeah. The other thing I want to talk to you about, John, is I finally started playing some PlayStation VR. Boy, I didn't know how badly I needed this in my life.
Did you know?
VR is so dope, dude. So, specifically, the game I want to talk about is Astrobot Rescue Mission.
Isn't that like the starter game that you play when you play the PS5, but like a different level? Or
so, Astro's Playroom is the game that you get on the PS5 built in, and that's like a sequel, I guess, but it's not VR.
Yeah.
So if you played that game, it has the same energy, the same spirit as Astrobot Rescue Mission.
Okay.
But in VR. There's just something magical about it, dude. Like, so in Astrobot Rescue Mission, like your avatar in the game is like this motherly bot that's that like Astro finds when the big bad guy fucks up his ship and scatters all the bots across the little galaxy that they're in or whatever.
Okay.
And so like you actually have the dual shock controller in your hands in the game. You can like look at it and you can like look in mirrors at a certain point and you can like see yourself scooting by.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But like you're like, I don't know, if I had to guess, I'd say Astro's probably like a foot tall. And then you're like a normal size human in height. So like you're looking down on him the whole time. And so it creates this really cool sense of depth and shit. So you're like looking, there'll be sections where like he jumps down a little ledge to go to a little secret area or whatever, and you gotta do one of these
to see what he's doing.
Yeah. And like you like peeking around corners and shit to see if there's some secrets over there, and looking up there when he's up on like tight ropes and shit like that. It's real cool. And when you fight the bosses are fucking enormous. They're like the size of skyscrapers and shit. So when they're standing right in front of you, you're like, "Hi, how you doing?" And it's just really cool. So I've been doing that. I beat that game. I got the platinum in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Highly recommend that. If you get PlayStation VR, like that's must play.
I mean, I probably won't since I have two Oculuses in the house.
But PSVR 2 though.
No, like I do make frivolous purchases, but I justify them with some sort of logic. And like if I have two VR headsets right now, I don't see a need for me to get a third.
I mean, by that logic, you had a PS4. You didn't need a PS5.
No, I had a PS4 first gen, and that is a huge jump to a PS5, especially in a house where I don't have Verizon FiOS.
I
So
mean,
the Rocket League the Rocket League update would be an average of an hour to an hour and 30 minutes. PS5, 5 minutes.
I'm not gonna sit here and tell you what you should do with your money, but the reports that are coming out about what's in the PSVR 2, like we're talking an astronomical difference
Mm,
worth. It
no.
put it to you this way: it would be a generational leap from the VR headsets that you have right
You mean the Oculus 2s?
now. Yeah,
I mean, that would be a selling point if I couldn't like manipulate anything on the Oculus 2 to fit what I want.
I'm not saying you should do it. I'm just saying that
I
it's
should do
much
it.
better, and there are PlayStation exclusives you ain't playing on Oculus. That's all
I
I'm saying.
understand that, but the only thing I play right now on VR is Beat Saber, and the fact that I can download all my custom songs on there without having to
That's
buy those packs.
that's only because Oculus doesn't have any good games.
I mean, you're not wrong, but Beat Saber is good enough. Let's put it this way: when you came over, what game got you hyped up when you were
That's
playing it in
the
the house?
but that was the only game I played.
But it
That's
was
not
fun as
fair.
shit. It was fun as shit.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not fun. I'm just saying like you first of all, you might not have the customizability, but you can still play Beat Saber there.
Like
Not to mention, like you still have the Oculus. Like if that's really what you want, you can just do that over there. But then, like you
put
come
it
over here and play good games.
put it this way. I told you about Clone Hero. Like after finding Clone Hero, there's no point in me like literally playing like Rock Band or anything because Clone Hero literally has everything I want.
I,
That's
I'm not.
kind of
I'm
that's kind
not
of what it's like that.
saying. I'm not trying to tell you that Beat Saber is going to be better on PSVR. It's not. All I'm saying is that there's a lot
There's
of
going to
great
be
games
more
over there that you
options.
can't play
Yeah,
on
I get it.
Oculus, and the headset is going to be significantly better. But John, I have a more important question for you.
What's up?
How you doing in Rocket League, my boy?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I have not started my climb at all. I have been really, I have been really jam packed with work and making sure the kids are ready for the first week of school. But when I do get on it, you already know I'm gonna climb that ladder like nobody's business.
Well,
All
if
I
you
need
want to
is a
play with
good.
me, you got to get up to Diamond now.
That's fine. It's nothing. Like literally, I was shooting for plat. What was it? Plat 3 last season, and I could have done it if I actually focused. Like literally, I went from gold to like almost plat 2 in a 5 hour session. So I'm not worried about it.
Listen, if you think that you're getting into Diamond just in like a long session, you best reevaluate. Like,
Oh no, for me to get into diamond, I have to work on certain facets of my gameplay. I already know that. But it's honestly when it comes to like Rocket League, what I've noticed is if I consistently play, like I'm always going to be at a high level. Like before that little stretch where I try to get platinum, you even said like, "Oh, you're playing at a platinum level." And that's because I was like consistently playing. Like I was literally on for every single tournament nearly every day, consistently playing and like getting like my reaction time, like where the ball bounces, all that stuff down packed to where whatever holes in my skill set I had, it made up for it because I was starting in the right position. I could read the ball well. Like hell, I was even like doing aerial like goalie moves and like stopping. Like I was getting really good to the point where I don't know if I told you, but there was one night when I was doing my whole tournament run to save up tournament credits for the end of the season that my friends who were in Diamond and Champ, they asked me to play with them because they needed a third, and I showed up. Like I guess I was peaking that game, whatever, but I showed up. I was blocking goals. If you saw me play that game and like you would have been like, who the fuck is this? Who took your controller? Because this is not you. And that's just from consistent play. Like I notice when I take hiatuses, it literally takes me a long time to get that engine going. So it's more just me getting like consistent. Like I'm just gonna have to slot like at least 1 to 2 hours a day. Just like I need to grind this out. I need to keep my skill sharp.
I don't know, bro. You kind of trash.
I mean, I understand that. That is why I said if I showed you the video of when I played with my friends, you'd be like, who the fuck had your controller?
John, should we get into this week's topic?
Fuck yeah, I'm actually real excited for this.
1987's Predator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. As always, John, what'd you think of this bad boy?
Commando movie wet dream.
You're fucking right.
Like, see, this is why, like, when we talked about watching Alien vs. Predator, like, I've been waiting for us to get this movie. I was like, we're going through Alien first, because, like, Predator is just going to be a fun ride for me. Like, and it just re-justified why I, like, remembered I love Predator movies so much, because, like, literally, like, Predator was an hour and 47 minutes. Like, didn't fluff anything up. It just went right into, we're going in the Congo, we're gonna do this mission. Out of nowhere, this fucking huge alien is taking us out. And it's just action, suspense. Like, you see him stalking his prey, and then, like, you're trying to figure out who this dude is, like, where did this alien come from? You don't need those answers. You're just trying to figure out how they're gonna survive this shit. On top of the fact, unlike Alien, these are well-prepared individuals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is not a colonial marine
exactly.
situation.
Like
these guys are vastly more capable than anybody
in
any of the Alien movies.
No offense, they handle their shit real well after seeing what they're dealing with.
It's like there's a couple of them where I'm like,
but you can understand why. Like, first of all, the first inklings they saw of this jungle terror was 3 dudes hung upside down, skinned alive.
Yeah.
And
intestines all on the floor and shit.
Exactly. And like in my head, like again, if I was on that squad and on that team, I was like, going back to the chopper. Y'all have fun with this mission. This is my retirement, my resignation. I'm just letting you know. Ain't fucking with it. Bye. Oh, the chopper's already left. I'm walking back home. I don't care what you gotta say. I don't care how long it is. I'm walking back. You know what? Actually, it's probably closer. I'm gonna go get taken by the enemy and be a pal. That's fine. That's fine. Cause I like, if I had to run up in this place I've never been before in enemy territory, and I come upon 3 dudes hung upside down, skinned alive, they eyeballs still staring at me, we got a problem. It's like, you don't pay me enough.
John, this movie is, for me, easily better than all of the Alien movies.
Oh, that's without question.
Like I think
graphics and special effects included, like, no matter how old this Predator movie, it still holds up today. It is great.
I mean, granted, it's almost 10 years older than Alien 1 and,
Mm-hmm.
a few years older than Alien 2.
Mm-hmm.
But even still.
Yeah. It's
Now,
so good.
if there was any question about how great this movie is for you, I'm just going to throw this out and you just let me know how you feel about this.
Mm-hmm.
The Predator, the Yautja, if
Oh
you
God, what? I thought we were gonna go the whole. Okay, fine. Yep, Yaucha. Mm-hmm.
was played by Kevin Peter Hall. I'm gonna link my boy to you really quick, just because I just want you to be able to see who it is we're talking about here. Not that it really matters because my boy isn't really relevant. You're not gonna know him for anything. Like
Yeah.
he plays the Predator.
Did you
Um,
hear about the backstory of that actually?
well, I
About who
mean,
was gonna play the Predator?
I was just gonna mention that this my boy who played him, but actually they started filming this bitch with another less known actor that you might have heard of.
Uh huh.
Um, let me see if I gotta pull this up again because I can't remember his name. He's such a fucking complete unknown here. Let me see if I can. Gene
You're s-
Clad.
you're such a bitch. You're such a huge bitch.
So apparently, the story goes that Jean Claude Van Damme actually started filming the movie as the Predator, and
Mm-hmm.
then for whatever reason left the production, and then they replaced him with my man Kevin Hall over here.
Mm-hmm.
How does that make you feel, though?
It makes me feel awesome because Jean Claude Van Damme's my boy.
I'm sorry to hear that, but
What?
go on.
Fuck you. Like, I don't like anytime I talk about like who's your like action movie martial arts guy, it's always Jean Claude Van Damme. There's no question. Ugh. And like nowadays, like I can't get down with a lot of them. Like I think Tony Jaa is pretty good. I like him. Jason Statham would be like a close like third, maybe. I don't even know who my second would be. Jet Li, maybe Jet Li. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, so I'm looking into it a little bit here, and this
Okay.
is what Xenopedia, the official Alien slash Predator,
Oh, I feel like this
has
whole
to say about the
series
subject.
is just an advertisement for Xenopedia.
Listen, when you do great work that's relevant to the show, we're going to talk
Great
about it.
work, great. All right,
So
just sip
this is what they
this.
have to say. The suit was to be worn by one Belgian actor, Jean Claude Van Damme. The idea being that Van Damme's martial arts prowess. Yeah, that's a little generous, but okay.
Wow, I'm gonna fly to Florida and I'm going to fucking. I'm gonna roundhouse kick you in the face and do a splits over your counter table.
His martial arts prowess would make the Predator
Fuck.
an agile ninja like hunter. However, from the very beginning, there were problems with the suit. The creature's solid insect like exoskeleton meant that Van Damme could not bend at the waist, and the leg extensions proved unwieldy and impractical when filming on location in a jungle. In fact, the legs proved so unwieldy that the creature had to be supported using either wires or a crane, severely limiting its agility and range
And
of
movement,
movements.
yes.
It quickly became apparent that the design was unworkable. And this is the part that I really enjoyed. Furthermore, compared to Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, and Jesse the Body Ventura,
Ugh, don't
actors
do that ever again.
actors known for their extensive bodybuilding regimes, Van Damme was not considered physically imposing enough to be a credible threat.
To be fair, to be 100% fair, that's fucking facts. No cap. Like
Yeah.
even if like Jean Claude Van Damme started bodybuilding a year in preparation for that role, he was not gonna get swole enough. Not even close. There was a scene in the movie to where like Carl Weathers were talking shit. It's like, "Oh, you sure this is gonna work?" And it's like, We don't know. Maybe you should help. And then it turned into a fireman's calendar photo shoot because all of their shirts were off. You just saw glistening muscles pulling down vines and hoisting up tree trunks and making these traps. And let's not forget about the meme, like when Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger first meet and they lock arms. Oh,
so good.
It's so good. I feel like that part was improvised. I
don't know. I don't know if it was or not. I
Not
would
the
love
high,
it if it was.
not the high five, but like the high five and where they're just staring at each other. It's like, oh, like they're basically like trying to fucking arm wrestle midair and shit. And Arnold Schwarzenegger's talking
got
shit.
You pushing too many pencils.
Exactly. Fucking great. It's like you always a glutton for punishment, dude. It's so good. But
Dutch is the best.
To that statement, yes, I totally agree. Jean-Claude Van Damme's stature is nowhere near as physically imposing as the rest of the cast, basically. Because the average height of the rest of the cast is like what, 6'3"? I want to say 6 foot, like 2, 6'3". It is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yep, Arnold Schwarzenegger 6'2". Carl Weathers 6'2". Jesse Ventura. Jessica Alba, no.
6'4".
And then
God damn! Dude, Father Time kicked Jesse Ventura's ass, bro.
Oh, 100%.
He looks like the ghost of Christmas Past.
Let me see.
Holy shit.
Please post that for me, Predator cast. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, Jesus, never mind. I just saw it. Good Lord. He looks like Ebenezer Scrooge. 100% Ebenezer Scrooge. Bill Duke. That's the one I want to look at. Bill Duke. How tall?
Who was Bill Duke?
6'4". He was
Mac.
Mac.
Okay.
And how tall?
So we're just going through everybody now.
No, I'm just seeing how tall Jean-Claude Van Damme's 5'10". He would get swiped left on all dating websites.
Meanwhile, our man Kevin Peter Hall, I want to say, is like 7 foot something.
Easily.
7'3".
Jesus Christ.
So fair. So I want to talk about the opening sequence for a second.
Yes, sir.
Because the opening sequence is not necessarily a sequence that I would consider John approved. It's very slow. It just kind of watching spaceship creep up, and then it ejects the Yautja into the jungle.
You're gonna use that as much as you possibly can, aren't you?
Yautja?
Fuck you.
You don't want me to call them by their name?
No, just call it the Predator. Like any self-respecting moviegoer who watches this movie.
Predator? You mean the Yautja?
Fucking hate you. But that scene was like only
I'll compromise with you. I'll call them the Hunters. How about that?
Ooh, that's a lot better. I like that a lot more.
Okay.
So, but that scene was like not even 30, 40 seconds. It just shows that
it's a little bit longer than that.
It's not.
It's like 2.5, 3 minutes. But
no, because it just shows
long.
that it's not.
I love that sequence. I think it gives you this great sense of foreboding, which I think that this movie does extraordinarily well. But I'm talking to you about how you feel. If you felt like it was 30 seconds, not. Okay.
But that's literally what it felt like to me. It felt like it was only like 30 seconds long, like fucking spaceship jettisoned and went into Earth, and like that's it.
Okay.
That's all.
That's fine.
What I'm talking about is like the way that they set up the. I'm gonna call them cannon fodder. Uh, the meat sacks, the prey, if you will.
Mhm.
They
The
set that up.
hunted, maybe.
Yes, yeah, they set that up really well. Because they made that whole copter ride is like that's how you get to know each of their personalities, how they interact, like the relationships between each other, like that these guys are badasses. They've been together for a long time. They've been on good missions. Like even Carl Weathers' character is like, he's like, who suggested we do this? Why don't you call the military? It's like, because somebody said you were the best damn team out there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're setting these guys up. They're setting that bar up real high. Not like in was it Aliens where they had like, yeah, in Aliens where it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get this really great military team of hardened badasses, and they fold like,
Game over, man.
dude, they fold like paper at an origami factory. Like it is bad. But these dudes, like, after seeing some fucked up shit, they still kind of hold it together. Like Mac lost it, but still was a focused individual. He wasn't just saying, "Oh, it's game over." He's like, "I seen this big motherfucker. He took my boy out. I'm gonna take him out."
I'm really glad that you brought all that up because one of the things that I noted when I was watching the movie that kind of took me out of it for a second was when Blaine gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
Mac's reaction seemed disproportionate to my perceived relationship between them up to that point.
Yeah, and like I was kind of getting like those like, "Oh, we talking Brokeback Mountain over here?" Like that's seriously
Right?
like
Like it
he
was a
seemed a
little bit
little.
I was like, I mean, like, okay, you're boys, but like, I don't feel like you properly set up this kind of a reaction.
Yeah, like homeboy.
Everybody else in the platoon is kind of like, yeah, that's unfortunate.
Oh,
This
that
guy's
sucks.
over here talking to himself under the moonlight and shit.
And then he goes to the dead body, has a drink with them, and then I was like, "So, are we
Leaves his
alluding to
fucking
something?"
canteen and shit. I'm like, God damn, dude, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah. But I was like, that's what I mean, it's like that's all it. That's all it was. I mean, he did lose his shit. Like,
And I'm
like
like,
he actually got like watched his brother die in front of him while the alien maniacally laughed at him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was some fucking horrendous shit.
I mean, like, I get it. I just I feel like they spend so much time building relationships. Like if that happened between Billy and Hawkins, totally would have got it.
Okay, okay,
Totally understandable.
yeah.
But like the interaction between Mac and Blaine is so limited before that point
It's
that I was kind of
so out of left field.
like you he could have reacted and I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah, sure. You guys have been through some shit together. You guys have seen some bodies. Oh, okay, you're gonna tell us a war story about what happened between you. Okay, I got it. But like to have this 10-minute sequence of Mac just losing it, I was like, okay. I think that might be a bit much.
Yeah, it was a bit much. I mean, he did give a little like uh exploration into their relationship, talking about how they went into like this one place with like 32 guys, everybody got like chopped up and they came out without a scratch. So how this random ass alien gonna take you out? And let me tell you, the way that Jesse Ventura's character is Blaine, right?
Yeah.
The way that Blaine got taken out, Jesus. Ugh.
Dude, the way he got taken out, I was like, shit, I'll take a chest burster, please.
Right? That was like,
Should I actually have 2 chest bursters with an extra side of sauce? Like,
yep, I'll drink
fuck
that. I'll drink
that.
the acid blood. Like that was, he just exploded, and they were looking at us like, oh, it's cauterized from the inside. Oh, its organs are everywhere, and like
And he wasn't even dead. Like, it wasn't like instant death. He had this moment where he was still fully alive and shit.
where he was
I
looking
was
up,
like,
mom, mom, mom.
Mo. God damn it, alien! I thought this was a street fight.
The Flash Clan.
Oh fuck. Other than that, though, I think that the interactions between the characters in this movie is phenomenal.
Pretty solid, especially like how Duncan, that's Carl Weathers, right?
Dylan.
Dylan screwed over Arnold Schwarzenegger's whole team by giving them like false information and lying to them,
Right.
and got him in this shit in the first place.
I mean,
What do you mean? Because they weren't trying to get out an actual diplomat. They were stealing plans from, I guess, like some sort of terrorist organization or whatever.
yeah, but saying that he like screwed them over, like they went and did it without a hitch. It's not like there was a problem until the
I mean,
Yahucha
yeah,
showed up.
that's
I'm sorry,
another
the
thing.
Hunter showed up.
Fuck you. That's another thing, though. The way that they're like building up how good this team is, like they just took out that whole cell without anybody getting really hurt or hit or anything like that. Did it like really efficiently, got what they came for or what Dylan was what wanted without a hitch. They're basically like, oh, dude, this team is really well put together. Like they're really awesome. Like they can handle some shit. And then they meet the Hunter.
Mm-hmm. I mean, meat is a strong word. They start getting fucking taken out by him.
Dude,
It takes them a hot minute to even figure out what's going on.
he literally makes them into trophies. No, the best part about their interactions with the Predator is when they're like, okay, we realize that this is a badass alien with all this tech and shit. We're still gonna take him head on, mano y mano. I mean, it goes horrible for all of them, but I still respect that they have the courage to do that. Like,
I mean,
that's
in
insane.
fairness, Billy was shook. They were like, let's get the fuck out of here. Dutch is the only one who's like, we ain't going fucking nowhere. Like, we're gonna fist fight this alien bitch.
And he was getting his ass beat.
But respect to them, they didn't go fucking Bill Paxton aliens. They were like, oh, boss said we're fighting the alien. We're fighting the alien.
Just see one. Oh no, fuck it. No, we're done, man. We're over. Game over. I'm just gonna lay here and take it up the ass.
I get this distinct feeling that if somebody tried that shit, like you were talking about in the beginning, like 3 skinned guys, nah, I'm out of here, Dutch. I'm like, you better get your punk ass back over. I'm gonna beat your ass myself.
Dutch
you ain't going probably nowhere.
I'll say this: if I was in place of any one of those characters and I said that, Dutch would put me under his arm and carry me around like a baby. He's like, look, all you got to do is point your gun and I'll squeeze you when you're supposed to pull the trigger. All right, that's all you got to do. Just stay right here,
dude. If you were like honestly trying to skip that platoon, this dude would have been like, all right, listen, you wanna desert your boys right here and leave us all dead? Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna break your legs, and we'll see how long you survive.
The hobbling. It's like, sure, you can go back to base. That's fine. Just do it with broken legs. It's fine.
All right, let's strap him to this bed real quick. I got the log in between his ankles. Sledgehammer, please.
Oh my god. Give us like how far do you think a wheelchair can get you in this dense jungle? Let's find out.
Also, you have to build your own wheelchair after your leg's broken.
Just go, It's like, you know what? Go for it. I'd take out the legs, I'd shave them for him, clean break. Go for it. I feel like I have a better chance of survival.
Like, hey, you're giving away our position. Stop fucking whining. You know what? Somebody cut out his tongue. I'm tired of hearing this bitch.
Oh my god. But that's what I mean. Like this movie, like especially with as little amount of time as this movie, like the runtime of this movie, it does a lot with that runtime, and really well, which is what I loved about this movie. It's like you set up the main antagonists or main antagonist group, you give them a problem, you set them up with an obstacle that you know that they can defeat really easily to give us a sense of how good they are. like how well they work, how they're not shook by any real situations. Like even before they took out the cell, they ran into the three skin dudes.
Yeah.
And like most people would just be like, "Oh, these are some sick fucks." Like I don't know if we can take these guys on. Like who would do this? Like they're not even really shook about that. It's like, "Oh shit, that happened. All right, we just know not to get caught. We don't need to worry about that." And just saw them in action, saw them in work so flawlessly, and then give them this just antagonistical being. Like it's more of a force when they first start interacting with it. Like they're like the chick speaking Spanish, she's all like the jungle took him. Like that I feel like that was a really powerful like scene and sentence. It's just like that's how she envisioned that dude getting taken out right in front of her eyes. And like that's what it feels like at that point in the movie. It's like the jungle is like out to just murder you guys. It started out more of like one of those like mythological like, oh, we intruded on this tribe's land and took their sacred object, now the jungle is out to take us out. Like that's what it kind of felt like at that moment, and that was really cool actually.
You
But
know,
then go ahead.
if they didn't have that opening sequence where you see like the spaceship and him coming down to Earth and shit, and you didn't know anything, you went into this movie totally blind. It
Hmm.
would be interesting to see what somebody like envisions going on at that point because you wouldn't
Yeah,
know. You have no reason. You have no way to know that. So when she
exactly.
says like the jungle came alive and took him, you might honestly be like, okay, let's see where this
Honestly,
goes.
I feel like the movie would have been more suspenseful and better for the viewer without that first spaceship scene.
Mm,
I mean I get it. It leaves you with some questions like how did he get here? Like they could have brought like they could have shown the spaceship within the jungle in a different way, or you could have just like alluded to like, oh, it's a fucking alien. That's fine. But I feel like that scene would have been more powerful without you knowing. Oh, I saw an alien ship land on Earth. It's probably an alien. Like, it's coming out to get him. I feel like it would have been a little bit better. But building up on that, their only inclination of what's killing their men is like this crazy thing that this chick saw that she's obviously off of a rocker says the jungle came and took him. But they then start like actually going after it and seeing it after they kill another guy and they start piecing stuff together. It's like, no, this still is something we not understand, but it's not the jungle coming after us. And like they hold their shit together better than anyone that I could think of. You
yeah.
know what I mean? In that kind of situation. Like again, if I was in that situation, if you were in that situation, like nearly anybody was in the situation and they saw like something basically invisible just murder two or three guys in front of them, I wouldn't try and make sense of anything. I'd try and get the fuck out.
Like,
Period.
well, this is a cool trip, guys. I'm fucking out of here.
It's like it's like either that or I'm just gonna take my own life, like because I'm not going out getting skinned alive. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
It's also interesting that they spend a few scenes in this movie talking about, like, between the characters, talking about how thick and dense the jungle is, how hot and humid it is,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and like you see these scenes where like you know how badass these guys are. So like
For
in your
them to
head,
be
you're like, if
griping
for
about this
them to
stuff,
be bitching,
yeah, it's definitely on another level. And like they've also like talked about like they've been in like jungle type areas before. Like they said this is worse than Cambodia. Like the
mhm.
Cambodian jungles. And like is hotter than Mexico. Oh, here's a taste of Mexico and they just take a swig of like tequila or whatever. But that's what I mean. Like they're alluding that they've been in the shit before. They've dealt with this level before, but this is just worse.
Yeah,
Like the environment is worse, and then on top of that they have this just unseen force stalking them in a disadvantageous environment for them. And again, they're still not really losing their shit. Like
right.
honestly, at the end of it, they're all like, we're gonna go after this thing. Either we're gonna kill it, or we're gonna at least slow it down to where whoever is like going towards the chopper can make it in time. One of those two things. And for you to like make that decision and put your life on the line, knowing you're gonna die and that you're probably gonna give your teammates or your group like maybe 5 or 10 seconds, knowing how like overpowering this thing is, that takes a lot of fucking courage. And it's not just like one of them that does it, it's like three or four.
Here's my question. It seems. Let's just take the movie at face value.
Mm-hmm.
So this alien comes down here to hunt people, presumably.
Yeah.
Because as we see throughout the movie, like he doesn't attack anyone who's unarmed. He doesn't take out like random harmless people.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, you think about it, it's kind of a weird line to draw in the sand when you're that ridiculously overpowered compared to people. But
he,
yeah,
like,
but he doesn't have a gun though.
But
like,
Arnold,
no.
Arnold figured it out because it's like he literally said he's like he didn't attack you because you didn't have a weapon because it wasn't sporting.
Right, but my point is just like when you're invisible and you have fucking weapons that could blow a hole in Jesse the body, Ventura's chest like that, like, bro, just having a gun really matters. I mean, clearly it doesn't. We see multiple times in the movie. Clearly it doesn't.
He at least is like saying like they have a way of protecting themselves at the very least. So it's not like it's not
like half the platoon is taken out before they even know that
he's
there's
there.
a threat.
Yeah,
like it's I don't know. His honor and morals seem questionable at best.
You know what? I guess I can paint a picture for you. It's basically like coming up to a baby in a carriage is like, man, I'd beat your ass. Here, let's make this a fair fight. No, here, let's make it a fair fight. And you give the baby boxing gloves. It's like, all right, we're good now. Like, we can fight.
Dude, honestly, it's more like if you came up to a baby in a stroller and just like
just suffocated,
snuff the life out of it. It's like, well, I gave him a gun though. We had a chance.
Well, I think
no,
but I think that's why instead of like, because honestly, with the element of surprise, he could have taken out the whole squadron without any problems. But I think that's why he takes out one at a time to give them a chance to like steal their resolve and like protect themselves to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Because again, he only takes them out when they're basically alone. Like when
he also takes them out like a punk bitch. Like,
no, he takes them out like a fucking hunter. Like you're not.
He took out Hawkins like a bitch. He's fucking totally invisible. Then comes up from behind. Oh shit! Are you dead? My bad. Let's just go over here into the trees.
But I'm saying though, he does it the way like anybody who's hunting dangerous game should be. Like again, if you're stalking a pack of dangerous carnivorous wolves, you're not gonna just try and take out, like, no matter how powerful you think you are, you're not just gonna try and take out the whole pack in one go. You know what I mean? But if you start taking out members of the pack slowly, you increase your chances of success, honestly, with each kill. Yes, you notify the pack that they're being hunted, but it still weakens their forces and also scares them.
Yeah, but like, is there any honor in hunting a lion or a wolf pack or something like that, though? Like, we're talking about a creature that's exhibiting this idea of like honor in combat, but then also ambushes his prey. Like, I don't think that anybody who's out there hunting big game or whatever is doing so with this idea of honor in their head. They're doing this. They're hunting them with this idea that like they're taking down something that would kill them if they were to go fist to fist, hand to hand, or whatever. This would be more like if hunters were out there arming the wolves, putting fucking like laser beams on their heads and shit, and then start hunting them.
Giving
Like,
them a fair chance.
like that's
I mean,
not what this is.
I know it's not perfect, but it's at least better than like being like coming down to earth and just like, I'm just gonna murder all these defenseless humans. Which, no offense, you're kind of right. Even if they do have guns, they're kind of defenseless. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, at least they have the option or the ability to protect themselves. Because again, after just the scene after he takes out Jesse the Body Ventura and Mac unloads his clip, and again, this is like one of the best fucking scenes of like manly camaraderie that I've ever fucking seen. Because let's paint this picture. Jesse the Body Ventura gets his fucking innards exploded out. All of his stuff's carterized, dead on the floor. Max sees the body and is there like right after it happens. He sees this like invisible glowing eyes figure and he just unloads his gun, screaming at the top of his lungs, "Sergeant!" Then he grabs Jesse the Body Ventura's minigun and starts unloading that. And everybody comes there, no question. Nobody says anything. They all just deadpan just start firing in Mac, like the way wherever Mac is pointing, just oh shit, another one comes. Like everybody unloads their clip. They even all reloaded a second time and still are just unloading, leveling the whole jungle with bullets. And then after they're done, it's like, so what the hell were you shooting at? It's just like that's the type of shit where it's like those memes and those videos where it's like black people will run if they see other black people running without a question. And I will attest to that. If I saw a black person run right now in front of me, I'd start running. I'd yell at the kids and my wife in the house, just run, and we just be going. No questions asked.
What's really wild about that scene, this is something that I heard, and I have real doubts about the validity of this comment.
Okay.
And I haven't been able to find anything to back it up, but what I heard was for that scene, they had originally planned to place like minor explosives throughout the jungle to like topple the trees and shit. But that was such an unbelievable pain in the ass because of how thick the jungle was and shit. They just legit gave the actors live ammo and made it into a firing range. Now, the insurance on something like that alone sounds like it's completely absurd. Nobody would ever
astronomical. Do that. Like how again, if you're firing in what you think is deserted jungle, bullets fly for a fucking far long ass time.
Yeah.
There's no way that you can just be like, okay, this is like the area where like the bullets are going to stop and we don't have to worry about hitting anybody. Especially with how much ammo that they fired in that scene alone.
Right.
But on the flip side, the way that they all just like unloaded and just had, I don't know, this just calming, peaceful visages all over their faces, that might be true. Because if I came to a set and they're like, all right, so we didn't set up the demolition because it was too much of a pain in the ass, so we're going to give you guys live ammunition. You get 3 clips, and we get 1 shot at this. So nobody says any lines, nobody tries to laugh or fuck it up. They just deadpan shoot into the ether. And it's like, this is the best day of my life. Like, they're probably just inner joy in their brains. Oh my god, I can't believe this is so good. This is so good. I fucking love it. Ah! It might be true.
It might be. I don't know.
But I agree with you. Like, the legality of it, like, setting up something like that, unless they, like, got a whole bunch of welders together and, like, set up a 40-yard area about 10 feet high to make sure nothing went past a certain perimeter.
Nah. Which they could.
I mean, they could, but would that be less expensive than actually getting the demolition set up?
Depends on how much of a pain in the ass it was. All I know is that if that's true, that's the most metal fucking thing in this movie, and that's saying a lot.
I mean, that scene just looked metal. Once again, like everybody just showed up to the party and started dancing. No pre-course, no pre-game whatsoever. Everybody just started hitting that shit.
Just take his word for it and start firing.
They didn't even take his word for it. They just saw what he was doing. Oh, we shooting? Oh, we're shooting.
I mean, in fairness, the first person to get there after he starts shooting is Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
And if he starts shooting, if you show up, you start shooting.
But I'm saying they are all shooting, and we're talking about minigun, assault rifles, grenade launchers, like almost just going to town, just leveling that whole area. It's like this is going to be a pile of ash after we're done.
What kills me is he clips him in the leg like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And then proceeds to miss every other bullet. I'm like, my guy, what the fuck kind of tracking ability do you have? He was like 10 feet in front of you. I could hit that guy.
You know what probably happened? The Predator is so smart. He's like, oh, I got clipped. So he immediately just laid on the floor and didn't move.
Just hit the ground. But that wouldn't work either because they're throwing grenades and shit in there.
But if you think about it, if you're shooting out grenades, you're going to be going out farther because you think the person is running away.
Nah, dude, there's no fucking way.
You would not think that the dude would be like 15, 20 feet in front of you, right?
There's no way.
I'm just saying, like,
there's no way.
That'd be the move, especially if you're invisible. That'd be the move, bro. That's the way to go.
Speaking of being invisible, one of the things that I love about this movie and what it does is there are scenes where the camera will just pan to a shot of the jungle, implying that he's just like sitting there watching shit. And you can't see him. It even starts doing that before you really know he's even there.
Yeah.
Which really gives you this weird sense of foreboding. And like I said, if you went into this movie totally blind, you have that scene in the beginning, but until he shows up, you don't know shit.
Exactly.
So it's just panning to the jungle. You're like, over there.
And you're like, you're actually a part of the experience. Is like, am I getting hunted? Like, who the fuck? I don't see.
Yeah.
I mean, just
it's like one of those Where's Waldo's and shit. Like, what the fuck?
Like, honestly,
is there something in that jungle?
They didn't even need to do that like little like dispersion effect to where you know like, oh, the predator's walking there. Like, they could have just left it to where like you have no idea where he is until it's too late. You know what I mean? Until like Arnold's like goes mano a mano with him. But
yeah,
I get why they did it. But I'm just saying, like, that's the type of mental fuckery that kind of situation puts you in. Like, even viewing this situation.
I honestly think they did it that way, though, to set up a couple of scenes. Like the one where Dylan and Mac are under that tree and looking at him and shit. Mm-hmm. That's a powerful scene. But you can't have that scene at all if you don't have that effect.
Yes.
Or when he, like, stands over Mac and just, sup, bitch. And blows his head.
Just blows his fucking head off.
Like, you thought I didn't know where you were, huh? It's like, stupid motherfucker.
It's like, Max was like, I thought I was being sneaky.
You know what fucking kills me about that, though? Like, this is a trained professional. And this man sees a fucking sight on his arm and goes, let me put my fucking head in that. Like, what are you doing? Don't do that.
That's one of those comedic fucking scenes. It's like, I gotta see what this is. It's like, even if you don't know it's a high-tech photon laser attached, like, shoulder mounted, like, you've been in the shit before. You know, like, laser sights. I'm pretty sure.
I can't imagine you don't. Granted, there's probably not many laser sights that create a little triangle like that, if any. But still, like, it's clear what that is. Don't fucking put your head into it.
That's, like, one of the best reticle sights. Like, I love that reticle sight because of this movie.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's fucking great.
And here's my question.
All right.
Who's the best character in this movie?
the Predator.
No,
That's
no,
me. That's
that's the
how I
wrong.
feel.
No, that's the wrong answer.
How is that the wrong answer?
Your feelings are wrong, bro. Like that's.
Thank you for telling me that my feelings are wrong.
You're welcome. I couldn't let you continue down this path of wrongness.
Okay, all right. Then if it's not the Predator, I'd probably have to say
Hawkins, yes, that is 100%
no.
correct.
It's
It is
not Hawkins. I
absolutely
know
Hawkins.
exactly why you're saying
Hawkins
Hawkins.
is the
No,
fucking man, dude.
God damn it!
Hawkins rules.
Why does Hawkins rule, D?
You don't need me to explain to you why Hawkins rules. Hawkins is the fucking best, dude.
You're such a piece of shit.
Hawkins is that fucking guy that you just desperately want him to shut his fucking mouth, but he won't. He just can't help himself.
And the fact that he's always saying like really out there and just offensive pussy jokes. And the worst part is
Billy.
yeah,
to Billy too.
like the most deadpan, straight laced guy on the crew is like, I gotta say something to make this fucker laugh, and he does it too.
He did. He got him.
I will say, and again,
I kind of felt like his first joke was better than that, but
no, the second joke was definitely better.
Okay, all right, well, fair enough.
I mean, the only thing that makes that joke like not as good as the first one is like he didn't do the echo part right. He just said the same line twice instead of like making it sound like it was an echo.
Yeah, the delivery was pretty weak.
It was pretty weak, but again, they were on a murderous mission in a really thick and hot jungle, so we can give him a pass. He still got Billy to laugh.
He did get Billy to laugh, which brings me to my next point, and this is something that's bothered me for years about this movie.
Uh-huh.
So throughout the movie, starting with that scene, actually, where he finally gets Billy to laugh, and the subsequent sequence where Mac like stabs the scorpion off of Dylan's back and shit, which is a dope scene, by the way.
Yes,
that shit's incredible. The way he just kind of side eyes over into the jungle to get him to turn around and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But during that scene, and then a couple of scenes subsequent to that, you hear the Predator like vocalizing what they're saying and repeating it back.
Yeah.
And this all kind of comes to a head at the end of the movie, where he's taken off the mask and shit, like it's just the Predator, and Dutch just looks at him like, "What the hell are you?" And he repeats it back, but he doesn't just repeat it back. He repeats it back and he says, "What the hell are you?" with emphasis on that, like he understands what he just said.
Yeah.
Do you think that he actually understands, or was that just like an artistic choice to get you questioning shit?
I think he understands Dutch in that moment. It's one of those like I know it's a cliche thing, but it's like certain men only know how to talk with their fists while fighting, and like those two had a fucking battle. Like Dutch went straight full commando, making exploding arrows and javelins and shit, setting up all these traps, and he's like, I respect that you stood here and fought me and that you put me through this ordeal with basically no weapons. So I'm going to fight you man to man. I'm taking all my shit off. And I'm just going to fuck you up. Like, I know I'm not going to lose.
You know that line where like he takes off all of his gear and shit and finally reveals his face. First of all, that whole thing where it goes from like his heat vision to just his normal infrared vision or whatever the fuck is, that's dope.
It's super dope.
But that line where Dutch is just like, "You are one ugly motherfucker." Apparently that was totally improvised.
Yeah.
That was just totally like that was his honest reaction to that shit. Like, they just left it in the movie.
Because and like that's what I like about see, I don't know if it was like the director is like he can't see it until the reveal because I want to see like his natural reaction. Like that kind of shit is
Yeah.
priceless. Like the first time was it is his name, he plays Alfred in the Dark Knight series where he first sees Heath Ledger as Joker and he's just fucking speechless.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And that shit is priceless. Like that's a memorable, that's one of those movie lines that's going down in the ages. A lot with honestly a lot of this movie is quotable
Mm.
or like either that or a GIF. A lot of this movie.
I'm sorry, what?
GIF.
There's peanut butter?
GIF.
Creamy peanut butter.
GIF.
Mother's choose.
GIF.
Okay, got it. Peanut butter.
But that's what I mean. And like, I don't know if it's because of like the current state of pop culture and everything that we're in now, but a movie being quotable and memeable is a sign of either a really great fucking movie or a really fun movie to watch, which I feel Predator's both.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And for it to hold up like so long, like there's so many things that they cut out of this movie that like everybody knows. And
Mhm.
Predator is one of those iconic monster sci-fi just creatures that people who probably haven't seen the original Predator could be like, I know who that is. Like just like Alien. Like
Mhm.
people know Alien without even seeing the original movies or anything like that. They just know that that's Alien. Like you know that that's Frankenstein. That's a zombie. That's Dracula. Like that. That stuff is powerful. That's amazing. Like I will say this: the one thing that I've always wanted after watching this movie is a fucking like actual Predator helmet, like with the dread tendrils and everything, the whole kit and caboodle. Like that's one thing that I need in my house before I die.
I, is there like a really good Predator video game? I feel like there's not.
There isn't. If there was, I would have played it by now. The
Like,
closest thing was
there's
the shooters. The closest thing was the shooters in the arcades.
there's that new one, Predator Hunting Grounds, which I
Uh,
think is going to be free on PlayStation Plus next month.
Maybe.
Think. Uh, what? There's an Egyptian skin. What the fuck? Anyway, let's see. What did this game get? 5 out of 10 from IGN.
Shit,
Ouch.
3.6 from GameStop.
God damn. But I want to say though, like this game came out in really rough shape, but it's one of those games that they've kind of like improved over time.
It does not look like it holds well though.
I mean, if I'm right and it is free next month, I'm gonna play it, dude.
I'll try it out.
Like
Because
I'll give it a
at the
shot.
very least, from what I'm looking at, you can customize your Predator.
I
Oh, these
mean, there's a Dutch skin. Like, do you need anything else?
this motherfucker, they have we get all this DLC when we get the game, right? Do we have to pay for
I,
this
I don't
shit?
I don't know.
Oh no, it says oh yeah, free update 1, free update 2, 3, 4. I don't know.
Doesn't matter. We'll have to play it, see if the game's even any good before we start worrying
Bro,
about what the
that
DLC.
one where like it's like the Predator that has like a chrome mask, but it's like painted over a skull and then it's black underneath looks sick as fuck.
You talking about the samurai one? Anyway, we're off on a fucking tangent at this
That's
point,
fine.
bro. Like,
Uh,
so circling back to the whole final showdown between Dutch and the Hunter.
yeah.
Um, first of all, oh that one, gotcha. Dutch gets his ass beat, dude.
Oh,
Like, he gets
and that's
fucked up.
that's another thing. Like it's like this whole movie is like high key subverting your expectation. in like every which
Mm.
way, shape, and form. It's like, oh shit, Dutch went commando. He knows that he can't see him when he has this mud on him. Like, ooh, Dutch got the upper hand. He's gonna handle this bitch. And it's like, no,
No.
not even close. It's like, look, I'm gonna humor you and take off all my gear and still beat your ass.
But here's the thing, and actually, this kind of circles back around to what I asked you before about whether or not he understands Dutch when he's talking about him. But like when Dutch finally defeats him and shit, he pulls that absolute pussy move of
Pussy
setting off
move.
a fucking nuke and shit.
Pussy.
Which,
You mean
which, for the
tactically
record,
sound?
everybody is fucking shitting on Indiana Jones for surviving a nuke in a fridge. At least he had a fridge. My
Yeah,
man
you're right about that.
Schwarzenegger's out here surviving nukes with his bare ass and shit. And
Oh, you
didn't
didn't
even
know?
come out with a scratch. He's a little ashy.
You didn't know he does the 40 in 3.5 seconds in a
But
dense ass jungle. On top of
especially,
that,
especially when we were talking earlier about how he seems to operate with some kind of honor and shit, this motherfucker's gonna set off a nuke because he lost. Like, you little baby back bitch.
oh, but it's fucking great because he does that maniac, like he copies Billy's laugh and does that maniacal
Right.
laugh. Is so good.
But
Like,
that was exactly my point too. Like, he drops the laugh on his ass, which further suggests that he does understand the context for which these things are used.
I mean, certain things are like universally, you can figure out by someone's inflection what something means.
Bro, these things seem to communicate with like clicks and growls and shit.
I mean, if it's clicks and growls, they can understand tones and inflections, right?
That's a funny ass click, bro. I like that click.
I mean, just saying. I mean, I inferred what some people in my friend's house where they all spoke Romanian. I could guess what they were saying. I was like, oh, she said such and such about this. Like, how did you know that? I was like, guess.
Complete guess.
I mean, this is a higher alien being who, it's not known now, but we know that they've traveled to a lot of different places to hunt different things and like dealt with a lot of different species. So they probably figured out a way of like, one, definitely mimicking what they're hunting, because like, like when you're hunting ducks, you have a duck call, that kind of shit.
Sure.
But yeah, you're right. Like, understanding might be a little far fetched, but I don't know. They might have like guesstimated what everything means just from like, again, the inflection of their voice and like how they're reacting, the look in their eyes.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But it's interesting to think about.
Definitely is. But I love the fact like he's like, I'm gonna use this laugh track and play this shit till I go home to heaven. It's like, you thought you won.
So I got a couple more questions for you to close out.
Lay 'em on me.
The first is where do you rank this in our pantheon of Alien and Predator movies so far?
What are you talking about? Like ranking them, like including the Alien movies?
Yeah. What's your list look
Oh,
like?
okay. All right. So here's Predator.
Yeah.
Wait, hold up. Can you see my roof?
No, your arm is like way off screen.
So, wait, okay. So I'm touching my roof. There's Predator,
Okay. Yeah, sure.
and then right here is like the first Alien movie on history.
Way.
But tell me I'm wrong though.
I think the gap is a lot less wide than that.
Really?
I agree that it's the best that we've watched so far, but the gap is like Alien 1 is a fucking masterpiece.
It is a masterpiece. I get it, but you already know like
This
how I feel about it. Like, if it's gonna be a slow burn fucking movie for me, like, I need to get some serious erection level payoff at the end of it. And I just didn't feel that way with Alien. That's just me. And
and I think that's fair. Like, I think that Predator is a super enjoyable movie. I think it's
yeah, and
really
like
it's fucking quality, but it is not Alien in terms of like
it's
filmmaking.
it's not Alien in terms of filmmaking, but like that's the thing is like me rewatching films that I've watched before, like I have to take more of an analytical approach because I have to like grade them on how well they did such and such scene, how well they did their story, how well they relate the plot to me, the viewer who's watching it. Not just grade it as like, oh, I fucking love the movie, like that's it. But that's what I mean. Like the more I think about Predator, like the subtle things that they did throughout the movie with again such a short runtime. Because what Alien was like, what 2 hours?
I'll
two
have to
hours
pull
and
it
some
up real quick.
change. And this is the first one that's 10 years prior to this. So that's a
It
long ass movie in those times.
is shit. 1 hour and 57 minutes.
Okay. So it's only 10 minutes long. That's fine. But again, like they did all this setup and they relayed so much information to me so well, so quickly, and enjoyably.
Mhm.
Other than the relationship between Mac and Blaine. That's the only thing that I feel that they missed the mark on.
Right. Like that one was kind of
It took me out of left field. Like literally, I was questioning. I was like, did they mean to say that this dude was like a part of the Don't Ask, Don't Tell part of the like the army slash Marines? Like, is he gay? Like, were they more than just friends? I don't know.
don't
Like,
ask, don't tell.
yeah, that's what I mean. But
I
like,
mean,
other than that,
Blaine dropped some choice language at the beginning of the movie, so I mean,
he definitely does. But that's what I mean. It's just maybe he's a self-hating. Anyway, anyways, but even like I feel like that's the only real thing that I could fault them for that they missed the mark on when it came to delivery. But again, like showing that whole chopper scene and showing their interactions, like if I were to see that, I would be like, oh man, this chopper scene's taking long. Like, how far the fuck is this jungle like from where they were originally looking? I wasn't thinking about that. I was like, this is a really good scene building up on like the interactions the character have with each other, like getting to know the characters. This is an amazing scene because you think about it, because I've been skydiving, and that moment to where you lift off the ground and you start going up in the air, that gives you a glimpse of like what you're really feeling in that moment. And these guys, maybe a Baden group of like mercenaries or whatever hired for a job, but still, this is basically like you at work in the break room with your coworkers. And that's where you're really yourself. Like we both worked together at Ralph's in the past. Like we have a facade that we put on when we're dealing with customers and we're out on the floor and we're behind our departments and whatever. But when we get in the break room, that's who you really are. When you interact with your coworkers in the break room, that's how you interact. Like you can tell if someone likes someone or someone doesn't. You can tell if like, oh fuck, there's Jerry. I hate that motherfucker. Like you'll see a sneer, you'll give him a death stare. You'll be like, hey Jerry, I ate your yogurt. I just want you to let you know I was the one that did that because I fucking hate your ass. Next time, close out the store the right way. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. And that interaction, which probably I think like I didn't time it, but I felt like that scene, that whole sequence is like maybe like 5 minutes of a helicopter ride, and that told me a plethora of information about those characters.
right.
And then it just built up off that when they finally like dropped off the helicopter and started the mission. And again, like it was just done really well. And like when you like take Predator at face value, it's like it's an action movie where it's an action sci-fi movie. It's basically like Commando meets Martian the Manhunter, I guess. Whatever.
Mhm.
But when you start thinking about the movie and the scenes and the characters, it just gets better and better and better, and you start realizing how good of a movie that it is. And that's what I didn't really get at the ending of Alien. And again, that's my personal opinion. That's how I felt at the end of it. But this is like a fun ride with complexity. which is the type of shit I'm all for. Like, I snort that like cocaine.
I also just want to interject that like that whole bit uh, on the helicopter actually has a great payoff towards the end of the movie because Max starts repeating the lines from that song that's playing while they're flying through.
Yep. And like,
And honestly, like I didn't even realize that that's what he was saying until I watched it this time. This is the repeat watch where I realized, oh, like that's actually calling back to that opening scene and shit. So that was pretty dope.
yeah, because he's going after this, like, he's going after this alien that he knows is like basically haunting his nightmares and his thoughts.
Right.
And instead of like taking all of his gear with him, he's like, I'm not fast enough. I'm just gonna take this knife with me and just disrobe and get rid of all of my gear because I need to get this guy. Because that's how much these, at least Blaine, meant to me. And like that's again a callback to the helicopter scene where you saw like how tight this group of people were.
Right.
And then it shows as it progresses to where like everybody is going mano a mano with basically this unstoppable force that they know they're going to lose to. Like Billy on the log is like, this is the only way that this guy is going to come and get you guys. I'm going to at least give you guys 5 or 10 seconds. I'm going to face him. He's fucking cutting his chest with a machete. I don't know why. I just want to see more badass, but he did it. Props to my boy Billy, but he screamed like a bitch. Like he didn't put up much of a fight at all. Like they didn't even show what happened to Billy, but they showed what happened after, which was jacked up.
Speaking of which, speaking of putting up a fight, I think we can both agree that the Predator's going to take out an alien, right? Like Xenomorph's going to get straight fucked up if they has to fight one of these things.
Yeah, but like the xenomorphs, when it comes to like xenomorphs versus Predator, like slash the hunters, is more of a numbers game. Because
Okay,
like
so
mono and
that
mono, no contest. The Predator's gonna win.
right. So that was actually going to be my question. How many Xenomorphs does it take to take down one hunter? And we'll say like this is just a straight fight, square up, no stealth at all. Like they're just going at him. Like how many can he take out before he gets overrun?
Uh, the Predator, I'd probably say 6. He would. It would take at least 6 aliens to take out one Predator who's aware of them. And that's a
Mm,
Predator that knows like the alien's acid is blood. Like without that information, that number jumps up to I'd say like 15. No, I mean that number jumps down to like 3 or 4. Half. Because again, if that Predator doesn't know that an alien's blood is acid, he's going to be at a drastic disadvantage.
yeah, I mean that number, depending on how he takes out the first one, could be as low as one.
Exactly. But
Like,
with prior information, I'd say 6.
I think 6 might be a little generous, but
Nah.
it's somewhere in the ballpark. I
Yeah.
would say somewhere between like 3 to 6, somewhere. Because like it depends on how they kind of add him. It depends on how he kills them. Like there's so many variables.
But that's
Like
the thing.
sure,
Like, if he knows that he's going to go up against these xenomorphs and knows that they have this acid blood, he would prepare to handle them the
bro,
right way.
this isn't Batman. He doesn't get
I
24
I
hours to
I get
prepare.
I get that, but again, if you notice, and we're gonna see later on, like they come prepared. They're basically space
Sure.
Batman.
Sure. But like we're just imagining that they get
It's a straight up fight,
F'd
and
in
it's
the
what he
A.
and what he usually brings is like it's nothing specialized for the xenomorph. Again,
Right.
without the knowledge of acid blood, 3 or 4. With the knowledge of acid blood, 6.
Okay, so absolutely no change from when he had specialized equipment.
No, I mean when he has like I'm talking about with specialized equipment.
Okay.
Like if you're talking about like he has specialized equipment, he knows everything about the xenomorph, and then he's gonna be like thrown in a pit, and they're gonna keep throwing xenomorphs at him. I'd probably say 15. If he knows like everything about the xenomorph and he's prepared for this, 15.
Okay, so this is my final question. We'll wrap up on this one.
Okay.
Battle between the Predator and the White Spike. Who's winning?
Predator.
All the White Spike getting taken down by one guy?
If you're asking for numbers,
Like, I'm asking what that fight looks like. So, like, in the Tomorrow War, they have like an unbelievable amount of White Spike. How many Predator would it take to win that war?
to win that war, 20. 20 Predator. I feel like oh yeah. The only problem that the Predator would have would be with the Queen.
I still think you way overvalue that queen.
Dude, she's tenacious.
Well, she is that.
But
John,
no,
what is your final rating for Predator?
I'm gonna give it a 10. Get to the chopper out of 10.
I like that.
With plus, you're one ugly motherfucker. Extra credit point.
I like that. I'm gonna give this a perfect one survival of a nuke with no refrigerator whatsoever out of a possible one.
Once again, he hits the 40 and 3.5, Dean. He doesn't need a refrigerator.
Bro, he would need to go so far. Like, they back up. That explosion takes out several miles of jungle. And like you see him running away. The bush is too thick. There's just no way, dude.
Dude, in such a thick jungle. He doesn't have a machete to clear that path for him whatsoever. Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. There's just no fucking way.
That is just complete and utter fallacy.
And he gets out of there without a scratch.
And then he's just chilling on the helicopter.
Ash.
Did the helicopter wait for him?
I don't know, I guess. I don't know how it knew where he would have ended up after that shit. And he's just staring out the window with PTSD and shit.
It's just like, dude, they need to... So with all this nostalgia and rebooting movies, they need to do a Predator reboot, but further in the future and bring back Arnold Schwarzenegger. Because he's not dead. He's like, oh, I've dealt with these motherfuckers before.
I mean, you saw that they put 2025 Dutch into this Predator Hunting Grounds game, right?
Dutch 2025 pack?
Oh, yeah.
He looks like a badass. I'm not going to lie about that. For $7? I'd buy that.
Like, even if that game's shitty, I might give that a go.
Like, I need to look at the gameplay and shit. Like, if I just walk around and just get to murk, dude. Hold up. Why do they got Andre 3000 in this Predator game?
What?
Hold up. I know we're trying to wrap up, but
What are you talking about?
You have to fucking see this. You have to fucking see this. Tell me that doesn't look like Andre 3000. Lie to me and say it does not look like Andre 3000.
I mean...
Oh, evidently? Okay. This is probably going to sound really bad after I like relay this information to you. That's supposed to be Marshawn Lynch.
I buy that.
But that photo right there, he looks like Andre 3000.
Yeah, kind of.
You think you got it? Oh, you think you got it? But got it.
And with that, until next week, when we touch on the sequel, Predator 2. Have fun out there.